players who are giving this game an instant pass because they see it as a straight up copy and paste of Hades may lose out on a great game that feels polished, is pretty well balanced for an early access title, has in my opinion extremely good and satisfying character progression, and a more than substantial amount of playstyle options, thanks not only to the source crystal shard system but also being able to unlock classes that each come with yet even more weapons unique to each of those classes. This game is set in the Arthurian legend, but you are not playing as Arthur. Instead, you are a Soulforged warrior who can come back from death. You are basically fighting your way through Camelot in these procedurally generated dungeons, with the ultimate goal of defeating the corrupted Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. Now, this game plays extremely well on a controller and has very responsive character movement. The attacks of your enemies are well telegraphed, and the game manages to create this feeling that Hades managed to do for me as well, which is that you're often feeling like you're in a dangerous dance with the enemy. A constant back and forth to see who dies first. The progression comes in various layers. You have the in-run progression with blessings, skill upgrades, and various other bonuses you can find. And then there are all the meta currencies, like crystal shards, fairy embers, moonstones, and grail waters. The crystal shards are used to unlock various skill trees. There are quite a few, and each one is specializing in areas like healing or movement. The bigger nodes provide major upgrades, like an additional dash charge, which is pretty substantial. You can spend moonstones to give the dungeons some enhancements, and buy new spells and weapons that you unlocked. Dying pretty much never feels frustrating because as you clear more chambers, you not only get your meta currencies, but also unlock the things that you can then buy back at the hub with these currencies. The difficulty feels fair, because the telegraphing so far prevents unfairness. Still, it is definitely challenging, especially against the Knights of the Round Table, but not quite as tough as a Souls-like, for example. The art style is subjective, but I personally like it. The music is fitting, most of the sound effects are really good, aside from some weapons that could perhaps benefit from some punchier sound effects. And the voice acting and charm of the characters is definitely not on par with Hades, but it mostly gets the job done.
You look like one of Merlin's Soulforged. You must be fighting Arthur.
Something I, and I'm sure quite a few others don't like, is that there is no pause in Singleplayer. Aside from that, 330 different blessings and the class differences make each run feel unique. At just $19 with a launch discount, the game offers surprisingly polished gameplay, great performance, deep customization, and 4-player co-op, making it pretty much a no-brainer for roguelike fans. The game is in early access but has a decent amount of content, with 4 biomes, 10 bosses, and 4 classes with a ton of blessings. They aim to improve the game in pretty much every aspect. And that sentence concludes today's video. If your time was respected, a like or comment is very much appreciated.